Welcome to Dark Horse Workshop, everybody. Today we're going to learn how to make our leather carving look fantastic. I'm embarrassed to say that it took me a very long time to properly apply a resist and finish to my pieces, especially for how much I enjoyed leather carving. A lot of my pieces ended up really muddy because I would just put antique stain over it as if that was going to magically make it pop. That's not how you do it, but we're going to go over it here so you don't have to make the mistakes that I made for so long. It's important to lessen the streaking of your die to wet your piece beforehand. And it's extremely important with leather carving because we're going to be painting with dyes. If you weren't painting with dyes, you could use a large piece of sheep's wool and you wouldn't really have to worry about wetting it. It's important to feather out your edges so it blends easier. Don't let it pool too much. Because if it's pooling, it's all soaking into your leather and it'll be dyed a little more unevenly. Like this mark here where it's a streak, you should feather that a bit. Just clean it up a little bit. So while there is dye still on my brush, I'm just trying to blend it out. I'm not as worried about these inner pieces for blending. They're so small. Nobody's gonna notice. Now it's time for a little neatsfoot oil. Looks pretty good. Now obviously we're going to let this soak into the leather properly and then we're going to buff it up. We want it to not be super shiny, which will mean the oil's gone. And if the oil is being uncooperative, we will just use some paper towel and wipe up some excess and get on to the next stage here. So now everything looks pretty much dried. I'm just going to buff it up really quick. So now we're going to take some water. This is way too much water, honestly. Let me fix that real quick. So now we're going to cut our Resolene with 30 to 50% water. So I'm going to do 50-50. And that is way too much of a mix for such a little item we're doing, but I don't care. Once we've got that done, we are going to saturate our sponge and then squeeze out all the excess. So we don't need all of this. We're just going to do circles. Because that'll streak less. We're looking for bubbles and bits that may be annoying. We want it to be nice and smooth. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to leave it. And we're going to do another coat. We're going to do 3 coats on this, actually. But I'm going to come back to this each time between coats, just so you might be able to get like an idea of what kind of finish we're looking for. I like a matte finish on my projects, and so far using a sponge has been the best way to get a matte finish. I just tend to put on too much with a spray gun. So here we are again, and it is very matte, which is the point. We can give it a little buff to see if we can like shine it up if we want to. It should gloss a little bit, but not much. You know, soft glow. But we're going to put some more of our Resolene on here because we're going to put antique on it. And we want to make sure that we've got a good coverage. So I'm doing the same thing as before. We're squeezing out all the excess. And then we're just doing circles. There we go. Second coat. Looks like it's pretty serious, right? But it's going to soak in a bit. And it'll probably be matte as well. So we'll see... We'll see the next one. Here we are again. It's still pretty matte. Do a little buff. You can put this in front of a fan to, you know, make it dry faster. This will be our final coat. This is only my second time doing it specifically like this. And the first time I did it with 5 coats, so we're going to try 3. And hopefully everything works out. There we go. I'm going to stick it in front of the fan, and then we're going to throw on our antique gel here. Once you get it to this point, you just apply a little bit of antique That's way too much antique gel, but we're rubbing it all over our piece, so it doesn't really matter. We'll just wipe it away after. So rub it everywhere, get it into all the cracks, make sure it's nice and even, and then wipe it away until pretty much all of it is gone, except for there will be a bit in the recesses of your cuts and bevels. Well, that turned out pretty nice, but now we're going to protect our antique that we've put on here with some more Resinline. Same thing as before, we've got our 50-50 mix, or 50-30, 50, that doesn't make any sense. Did I say 50-30 before? 30 to 50% water, with the other part being Resinline. Make sure we get in the inner areas pretty good. I think next time I would try 2 coats of 70% Resinline, 30% water. But I'm still liking how this is looking. We're gonna let this one dry. There we go, we've got our last coat of acrylic Resinline on. It's looking pretty awesome. I think I would go a little more matte next time and see how that goes, but I'm really enjoying it. Whoa, before you take off, I'm going to put another video right up here for you guys, so check that out. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future content. Check the description of this video for all the tools and supplies that I used during this video. And until next time, keep on being creative in whatever it is you do.